Swigert, and rounding out the field way back in 26th, the Palmco Race Car Repair, number 4, Stephanie Palmine.
26 cars ready to go 30 laps, and what story do you talk about first? Brian Marriott almost won this race before, came that close. Now he's on the pole looking for redemption. Mike Rutherford, can he sweep the two big ones, take the 270 and the 600? Todd Steffi, what a weekend for him. He struggled the past couple weeks.
Yeah.
Now all of a sudden he's on fire. Last week's feature winner, Heath Hanley, ends up starting 4th in this one. So Heath comes into tonight with a lot of momentum. You have Marty Gore and Jeff Wilson, who out of nowhere qualified beautifully for this feature event. Ryan Smith and Eric Bodine, who made their marks at the Super 600 Showdown mid-season in a different kind of car, but in the same setting, a big race deal on the same kind of track. Smith and Bodine both came from way back in the starting lineup to the front. Most people said Bodine looked like the car to beat last night before he had engine trouble. And then, of course, right behind them is Richie Hartman, who's always a favorite. Row number 6 has Greg Miller and Billy Logeman, who just finished 1st and 2nd in the race in the 125s. And then you look deep in the field, you have Skias, you have Perchek, big names in micro racing. This one's going to be a ball.
It should be a lot of fun. We're ready to go. Get it underway. Brian Marriott leads the field to the green. The 270 feature underway. Marriott leading him down the back chute. Rutherford in tow. It's Todd Steffi and Heath Hanley battling for 3rd spot as we complete lap number 1.
Lap number 1 was a wild one because everybody's looking for the bottom. Nobody wants to be on the top. And by doing that, there were a few cars that got pinched off, a few cars that had nowhere to go, tried to run the top, it didn't work. But we're clean and green 2 laps into it.
Rutherford still chasing the leader, Brian Marriott. You know, Brian was telling me he's taken a different approach to racing this year. He is, of course, a veteran of 270 micro sprint racing. This year he has cut back, racing less, winning more though. 3 feature victories out at Path Valley Speedway to go along with 3 runner-up efforts. Oh, it's getting pretty dicey in the back of the pack. People are getting rammy back there, thinking they've got to get to the front. A little frabbing and babbing in the back of the pack, but
Great
we
run
stay green.
Between Auric and Bodine. Bodine has a clear silver wing on his car. That's because in the hot lap session, his wing came apart. Not really knowing why, it just flew apart. And there's the race for the lead. Rutherford looks under Marriott. Marriott holds it back for another lap.
7 on the scoreboard now. 7 down, 23 to go. Rutherford is there, and lap traffic is right in front of them. Again, Mike Rutherford looking to the inside. Again, Marriott able to slam the door as they charged into turn number 1.
It's funny because if you listen to some people, they said it's Brian Marriott's race to lose. He's the strongest car by far. And then you listen to others and they said, well, it's Mike Rutherford's race to lose. He's the strongest car by far. Well, obviously they're the strongest cars, but not quite sure which one's stronger. And they got some company.
They do. Todd Steffi and Heath Hanley wheel to wheel down the backstretch. That's a battle for 3rd, and oh, look who's coming. That 44B, we talked about him during the introductions. The kid from Kunkeltown, working to the inside of Todd Steffi. It's Ryan Smith, the 44B. He has just taken over 4th spot. Yellow is out.
Caution flags for the 40 of Jeff Wilson. Just nowhere to go. The top 10, pretty much you could have threw them under a blanket. Even though they were racing through lap traffic feverishly, they were still nose to tail. Wilson was at the end of that line. They got tangled up, falls back, and just a chain reaction deal as we seen earlier, and Jeff trying to get the car out of gear so he can get pushed away.
See Ross Pershek there, and I believe the 02, Nick Walton.
They all but wrecked there at the back of the pack on the
they
start.
did. They were trying. It just didn't quite happen.
And here you see this chain reaction deal. Hartman dives to the inside of Gore, and Jeff Wilson's just at the wrong place at the wrong time. And honestly, Jeff did the smart thing. Stop the car instead of coming back out into traffic.
Right. Yeah, no question. Even though he's got to restart at the tail end of the field. 12 laps down, still 18 to go, so he's got some time to reclaim some of those lost positions. Wow, the racing is picking up. It's really getting interesting at the head of the field, though. Brian Marriott fighting off and fending off the challenges of Mike Rutherford here over the first 12 laps. Some more clawing and scratching going to take place. Different